Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is the second video of the playlist for basic of React.js. So in this video we will start learning or developing the API get, and what we are going to get is from this data. Later we will make a website using this data where it will show some posts. For the style, we will using the bootstrap, or you can use your own style. The first one is as you can see here, I already have a new project with the name of part 2, and I already have the basic structure of the React project. So the first thing you are going to do is go to the app.js, and in here we are going to make the component. Let's make the component folder. Inside of this src folder, I'm gonna make a new file, a new folder. It's going to be component. Inside of it, we will have the post list, or maybe just block list.jsx and block card.jsx. And for the both, I'm going to write rfce for making the basic structure of the JSX file. And in app.js, I'm going to call this block list. I will import it first, block list, and here I'm going to call it, but it was a self-closing tag, block list. Next, I'm going to make the CSS block, but before we do that, we are going to connect our index.html with a bootstrap. And here I'm going to delete all the unnecessary code, like for example this comment and here, and we are going to change this to block. Now let's go to the bootstrap website, and I will copy the separate version. For example, I will copy the CSS first and then put it above or before the block, or before the title tag. And for the CSS, I will just copy the bundle and then put it after the root. Alt Shift F to verify it. Now what we're going to do is inside of this block list, we will have I will just make it as a React fragment, and inside of it we will have a div with a class of container. Inside of that container, we will have the row. Inside of that row, we'll have a call. We'll have a call md 4, and I will make it 3. For each of this, we'll have the block card. So I will import it first. Import block card, and I will put it in here. In each of this column D, it is going to be block card, and all of this will have the block will have class equal to block item. Now let's see how it looks in a website. Here in a block, as you can see here, we have 3 block card, but I think this is way too few, so we can make it 4 and make all of these 3. Let me see, and here we go. We can add some additional accessories, like for example navbar. We can copy it from the navbar, from the bootstrap, search for navbar, navbar here, navbar. I will scroll down and I will just copy the first one. Paste it here, just before the block list. And also I will change this app.js to app.jsx so that I can use my beautify to beautifying my code. Because if I use the .js, the beautify will think I am writing the JS code, but actually I am writing the JSX or the React code. And also I have to close this self-closing tag because in React it's a little bit different from the HTML. We have to close the tag with a slash and not just leave it empty. Now let's see how it looks. And here, as you can see, we have a navbar. We can give it some space to the content. Like for example, I will give it margin bottom equal to 10 and not 10, I mean 3. Okay. Now we are going to develop in a block card. I will make it as a React fragment and go again to the bootstrap, go again to the bootstrap website and search for a card. Scroll down and we will copy the first one as it here. I will Alt Shift F and also close this image tag. Alt Shift F to beautify it, and I will just set the width equal to 100%. And for the image, I will set it later, but let's first see how it looks. We get some blank. Let me see in the console what we have. Oh yes, I forgot. In the React, we are not using class, but we are using class name. So I will change all of this to class name. And also in the app, I have to change all of this class to class name. Class, and then change it to class name. Now let's see how it looks. It should be working fine. Wait a second. And also, because we are a copy from the bootstrap, we can change the style. For style in React, we are not using like this. We are writing it like this, instead of a double curly brace, and then the property, and the value is going to be 100%. Now let's see. Now it is working fine. We just need some image, and we will connect it with this API using Axios. Let me search for some image. For the image, you can go to placeimg.com and set the width to 300, and for the height it's going to be 250. I will just use the tag and generate the image. We just need one because we will just repeat it later. Because we will repeat it again and again and again. Since in the API is not give some image or the different image, so we can just use one image. I will move this image first to my VS Code. I will put it in the public, but inside of a folder called img. I will place this image in here, move, and replace the name to block img1. Let's go to the block card and then put it in here. /img / block img1.jpg. Now let's see how it looks. I will move it here. And as you can see, we have the image, the title, description, and some button. Now for the UI is done, we can start making the connection to the API. To do that, first you have to install the Axios. I will use yarn, but first I will clear it, then yarn add Axios. I will make it bigger so you can see the command is. Finally, the Axios installing is done. Now we can close the terminal. We'll close this first and then close the terminal. Let's make the connection in app.jsx. App.jsx or block list. Let me see. So let's make the connection in a block list.jsx. But first, before we do that, we have to change this function to a stateful function. So I will change this class block list extends component, and also we have to cut it and put it in the render. Put it here. Alt Shift F and then save, because we are going to use the component did mount. And also we have to make a new variable that is state equal to then blocks is going to be an array. This is the variable where we are going to save the result of the component did mount, or save the data from the API connection. First, I will make the component did mount function here, and inside of that we'll have the fetch. Wait a second. And also I forgot to add this, and here in React we have to import the component, or you can use also use the function that is the type code is already prepared for you in a JSON placeholder JSON placeholder.typecode.com. Here they already prepare for us some function to use, so we can just copy and paste it inside of this component did mount and change it to pause. Now let's see how it looks. It is not changing anything because we are not already using it, but there must be something inside of the console log. As you can see here, we have the data of the pause 1 2 3 4 5 until the 100. And after we get the data, we are going to use it to show a dynamic blog post. And here for the done, we are not going to do like this. We are going to make it something like this. So here we are going to use it to set value to the blocks. Here this dot set state, and then blocks equal to JSON. So it will fill these blocks with a JSON. And after that, we can loop all over this. We can cut the first one and then make a mapping function. This dot state dot blocks dot map, and then block. Let me see, there's something went wrong. Like this, and then pass it here. Alt Shift F to verify it, and don't forget to give it a key equal to, maybe we need some. For the key, we can go to the API and we can give it ID block .id. Now let's see how it looks first. We'll just pull and maximize it. JSON is not defined. Let me see. Oh yep, I forgot. We should not remove this JSON, and then it should be like this, and move this. We'll move this out to here. We'll make it a little bit, and that, like we see in the website, we get a blank page, like we see here. Okay, but let's first remove this T, and then I forgot we don't put it in the parentheses, and we can give it style something like MB is equal to 2. Now let's see how it looks. And as you can see here, we have the card from the data we get from API. Now let's just send this. Let's just send the data to our block card. So in here, we can just something like, we're going to give it as a props. So in here, I'm going to give block equal to block, and in block card, I will make a room for the params, and the variable is going to be the block. We'll change the first one is going to be the title. The title is going to be block dot title, and then for the description, let me see in the API, it is going to be the body. So for the description, it's going to be block.body. Save it first. Now let's see what is more, and I think that's it. Let's try to see in the website. And as you can see here, we have a different data for each card, except the image, because we just have a one image. Now what we're going to do is make the connection API, but either we use from the website, we will use from the Axios or with the Axios. So first, I'm going to import the Axios here. Import Axios from Axios, and then inside of here we'll have an Axios.get. We can copy the URL from here, copy and paste it here. Then is res, and it's going to be console log res. Now let's open it in the browser, refresh it, and let's inspect it. As you can see here, we have the data from the API we fetch. We have the config, and the data is in the data. Here, if we are using function from the JSON placeholder, it is direct to the data. But if we use the Axios, it have the data, and then inside of the data we will have the data, and this is the real data. We can also use the Axios and the fetch from the JSON placeholder website. Now let's complete this. Function. It's going to be this set state block go to res.data. And remember, since we are using the Axios, the data is inside the data. Now let's try it in the website. As you can see, we get the same result, but the difference is in the way to get it. And we can also go to the block card to add maybe some more feature. And here we are going to use substring 0,100. So this will cut the text if it is reached 100 character. And as you can see here, we have a lot fewer text in here. Not like before, where where it is showing all of the text. And what we are going to learn next is going to be the pause and the delete method. But we are not going to use this JSON placeholder data. We are going to make a fake API using this JSON placeholder too. So go to your VS Code and then go to your terminal. I will figure it is CLS, and then you will use some command called npm install min-g JSON server, or you can also use yarn, but in here I will just follow the documentation and enter. And the installing is done. We can close again the terminal, go to your root folder. We'll collapse all of this and make a new file called db.json. Inside of here we are going to create some basic data. For example, blocks is equal to id, comma, I will just skip it. So for the data is done, it is something like this. Now let's run our DB or our API. I will make a new terminal here and typing JSON server space and then dash watch db.json, and make sure you put the db.json in the root folder. Now let's enter it and we will see it is running. As you can see, we have the blocks, comment, and profile. But we see one by one. I will go to the localhost 3000. Localhost 3000. For example, the first one is blocks. It is showing the data, comments, and profile. It is all working fine. Now let's go back to the VS Code, and here we can replace our old API to the new fake API. So in here, I will just change it to localhost, and then 3000/blocks. And this one is not HTTPS but HTTP. I will comment it for now and console log the data. But also before we run it, we have to change this port to 3004. I will CLS and then run the command again, but with a new props. There's a port and then we put the port, enter, it will run it, and here we can change from 3000 to 3004. Now let's see how it looks in the website. We start getting some empty image, some empty page. Let me see here, manifest line 1 column 1. Let me see. Now we get some empty page, but we still have the navbar. That means our code is work. Go to your inspect and the console. And here we got the array and the data. We get the first data because we just only set one data. Now there is working. The next step is, now let's try to copy the data from the post. From here, we'll copy it. We'll copy all of this. Copy and then paste it here in the db.json. Alt Shift F to verify it. Now let's try look in a block. Still nothing because I am commented out the script to set the state data. Now let's comment out the console and not comment out the set state function. Let's see in a block, refresh it. Alright, so let's change the structure of this array. In here I should change it to an object. Let me see the first data. See, it is something like this, so we just have to reverse it. The array turned into an object and the object turned into an array. But let me first. Okay, now let's change all of this to array. Wait a second. And change it to an array. Close array. And for the close tag, we'll make it go the way down. And make it as a close tag of an array. Now let's see, there's something went wrong here. Let me Control X and then Control Z. Go back to the first data. Okay. So I will forget to add all of this. We'll shift and then N, shift Control N. I will make all of this inside of a blocks is equal to something like this. Maybe yes, maybe no. Let me put the data in here. Control C. Wait a second. Now this is the right version. We get the object and then the blocks. We get an array and we change all of the array to an object. Now let's see how it looks, if it is gonna working or not. And don't forget to run the server or the database server. Now let's F5 and refresh it, and here as you can see we get the same result as before. So I think that's it for this video. I hope you will enjoy it. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Thanks and bye bye.